They share the same ancient faith, the same rejection of Chalcedon. The same Patriarch of Alexandria once ruled them both. Yet walk into a Coptic church in Cairo and an Ethiopian Orthodox Church in Lalibela, and you might wonder if you've entered two different religions. One worships in Coptic, the other in Guizi. One has an altar, the other has the Ark of the Covenant. One reads from a canon of 73 books, like the Catholic Church, the other from 81 books, the largest in Christendom, with some traditions counting 88. How did two churches, united under the same bishop for 1,600 years, come to read different Bibles, honor different saints, and worship in such deeply, beautifully different ways? The answer lies not in a story of division, but of preservation, of ancient texts, ancient traditions, and a faith that took root in soil so fertile it grew into something the world had never seen. But, before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. To understand their difference, we must first understand their unity. In the 4th century, a Tyrian scholar named Frumentius arrived in the kingdom of Aksum. Captured as a youth, he rose to a position of influence and used it to plant the seeds of Christianity. When he sought consecration as a bishop, he traveled not to Rome or Constantinople, but to Alexandria. There, the great Athanasius, defender of the Nicene faith, ordained him as the first bishop of Ethiopia. For the next 16 centuries, the Patriarch of Alexandria would appoint every Ethiopian archbishop. The two churches shared the same Miaphysite Christology, the belief that Christ's divine and human natures are united in one nature, and together they stood against the Council of Chalcedon in 451. They were, in the deepest theological sense, one church. But shared theology does not mean shared culture. The Nile connected them, but distance and geography created space for difference. While the Coptic Church developed within the Greco-Roman world of the Mediterranean, Ethiopian Christianity grew in the highlands of East Africa, isolated by deserts, mountains, and the Red Sea. This isolation was not a weakness, it was a preservative. When Arab armies swept through Egypt in the 7th century, the Coptic Church found itself under continuous pressure, its language and culture slowly receding. Ethiopia, protected by its geography, became an ark, preserving not only its own traditions but ancient Christian texts that would disappear elsewhere. The same storm that battered Egypt became the wind that filled Ethiopia's sails. This brings us to the question your deacon asked. If Christianity came to Ethiopia from Alexandria, and if Alexandrian bishops ruled for 1,600 years, why are the two churches so different? The answer lies in understanding what that rule actually meant. The Patriarch of Alexandria appointed one bishop for all Ethiopia, the eunuch, and that bishop was almost always Egyptian. But one man could not control the religious life of a nation. He supervised doctrine and ordained clergy, but the daily worship, the monastic teaching, the translation of texts, all of this was in Ethiopian hands. The eunuch was the thread connecting Ethiopia to Alexandria, but the fabric of Ethiopian faith was woven by Ethiopian fingers. This distinction between theological authority and cultural practice is the key that unlocks everything. The first difference you would notice walking into worship is the language of prayer. The Coptic Church prays in Coptic, the final stage of the ancient Egyptian language, written in Greek letters with additional demotic characters. It is the language of the pharaohs, transformed by Christianity, preserved in liturgy long after Arabic became the language of daily life. The Ethiopian Church prays in Guizi, an ancient Semitic language of the Aksumite Empire, related to the languages of Arabia and the Old Testament. Both are liturgical languages, understood by clergy and scholars, but mysterious to many worshippers. Yet they point to different cultural roots: Coptic to Egypt's pharaonic past, Guizi to Ethiopia's Semitic heritage and its connections to the biblical world. But language is more than words, it is worldview. The Coptic language preserved for Egypt the theology of the Desert Fathers, the martyrs of the Diocletian persecution, the catechetical school of Alexandria. When you pray in Coptic, you join a chorus stretching back to Anthony the Great and Pachomius, to Athanasius and Cyril. Guizi preserved something different: the theology of the Nine Saints, Syrian monks who fled to Ethiopia in the 5th century, bringing with them not only scripture but the Didascalia, the monastic traditions of the East, and texts that would shape Ethiopian Christianity forever. These saints translated the Bible into Ge'ez, establishing a literary tradition that would grow to include books the West had never heard of. Language became the vessel that carried different treasures. This difference in language led to a profound difference in preservation. Because Ethiopia translated texts early and preserved them in isolated monasteries, they kept works that vanished elsewhere. The Book of Enoch, quoted in the New Testament but lost to the West for centuries, survived in Ge'ez. The Book of Jubilees, the Maccabean books, the Didascalia, the Book of the Covenant, all found refuge in Ethiopia. The Coptic Church, by contrast, developed its canon along the lines of the Greek Septuagint, the standard of the Eastern churches. Both canons are orthodox, both are complete, but Ethiopia's is larger because Ethiopia's world was larger. They received not only from Alexandria, but from Syria, from Jerusalem, from the ancient Jewish communities that may have existed in Ethiopia before Christ. Their language became the ark that carried these treasures through the flood of time. But, before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. Now we come to the most visible difference, the one that strikes every visitor. Walk into a Coptic church, and you will see an altar, often screened, representing Christ's tomb and the heavenly sanctuary. Walk into an Ethiopian church, and you will find at its center the Tabot, a replica of the Ark of the Covenant. No Ethiopian church can be consecrated without a Tabot. It is the heart of every sanctuary, the reason every church exists. During Timkat, Ethiopia's Epiphany celebration, the Tabot is carried in procession, wrapped in rich cloth, honored as the very presence of God. This is not symbolism, it is theology made visible. The ark that Moses built, that David danced before, that Solomon placed in the temple, its presence, in replica, defines Ethiopian worship. Why this difference? The answer may lie in Ethiopia's ancient connection to Judaism. Long before Christianity arrived, Ethiopian culture showed evidence of Jewish influence. Dietary customs, circumcision on the 8th day, Sabbath observance. Some traditions claim that Menelik I, son of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, brought the true ark to Ethiopia. Whether historical or legendary, this tradition shaped Ethiopian Christian identity. When Christianity came, it did not replace these Jewish elements, it fulfilled them. The Tabot represents the conviction that the God of Israel, now revealed in Jesus Christ, continues to dwell among his people in a tangible way. The Coptic Church, developing in a different cultural context, did not absorb these Jewish elements. Their altar represents the empty tomb, the resurrection, the heavenly worship. Both are biblical, both are orthodox, both are profoundly different. This difference extends to the calendar and festivals. Ethiopia celebrates Meskel, commemorating the finding of the true cross by Empress Helena, a festival with unique rituals, bonfires, and processions that exist nowhere else in exactly this form. The Coptic Church also honors the cross, but not with Ethiopia's particular intensity. Ethiopia's fasting calendar is the most extensive in Christianity, up to 250 days a year, including fast for the Virgin Mary, the Apostles, and the Prophets. The Coptic Church fasts strictly, but with fewer days. These differences reflect not theological disagreement, but cultural embodiment. The same faith, planted in different soil, produced different fruits, both nourishing, both sweet, both recognizably from the same vine. Now we arrive at the most striking paradox of all. The Coptic Orthodox Church and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church share the same apostolic succession, the same Christology, the same Patriarch for 1,600 years, yet they read from different Bibles. The Coptic canon, following the Greek Septuagint tradition, contains 73 books, the same number as the Catholic Church, though with some variations in order and acceptance. The Ethiopian canon contains 81 books in its standard enumeration, with some traditions counting 88 when certain divisions are included. This is the largest biblical canon in all of Christendom. How can two churches, united under the same Alexandrian umbrella, have such different scriptures? The answer reveals the beautiful diversity of ancient Christianity. The difference lies in what each church preserved. The Coptic canon developed within the Mediterranean world, shaped by the great councils, the scholarship of Alexandria, and the consensus of the Greek-speaking churches. It includes the books of the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Old Testament used by the apostles, and the 27-book New Testament accepted by all. The Ethiopian canon includes all of this, plus books that vanished elsewhere. The Book of Enoch, quoted in the New Testament by Jude but lost to the West for centuries, survived in Guizi. The Book of Jubilees, retelling Genesis and Exodus from an angelic perspective, survived only in Ethiopia. The Maccabean books, 3 Ethiopian books distinct from the Maccabees of other traditions, exist nowhere else. The Didascalia, the Book of the Covenant, the Synodos, all preserved in Ethiopia's highlands. Why did Ethiopia preserve what others lost? The answer lies in the 4 streams that shaped Ethiopian Christianity. From Alexandria, they received the core faith, the Gospels, the Psalms, the Pauline epistles. From Syria, through the Nine Saints in the 5th century, they received monastic texts, church orders like the Didascalia, and a tradition of translation that rendered everything into Gizi. From Byzantine contacts, they received connections to the wider Christian world, influencing art and architecture. And from Ethiopia's own soil, from ancient Jewish communities that may have existed before Christ, from local traditions that resonated with Old Testament imagery, they received a hunger to preserve every text that spoke of God's dealings with his people. The Ethiopian canon is not an accident. It is the product of a church that said yes to every stream that flowed its way. But before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. The Ethiopian church was not simply a copy of Alexandria. It was shaped by 4 distinct influences, each leaving its mark. First, Alexandria provided the theological foundation, the Christology of Cyril, the monasticism of Anthony, the episcopal structure that tied Ethiopia to the wider church. For 16 centuries, Egyptian bishops came to Ethiopia, bringing the faith of the Desert Fathers and the Creed of Nicaea. This Alexandrian stream gave Ethiopia its doctrinal identity, its place in the family of Oriental Orthodox churches, its connection to the apostolic see of Mark the Evangelist. Without Alexandria, Ethiopia would have been Christian, but it would have been a different kind of Christian, isolated from the ancient patriarchal structure. The second stream flowed from Syria. In the 5th century, a group of monks arrived in Ethiopia, known as the Nine Saints. They came not from Egypt, but from the Syrian Christian world, possibly fleeing the theological conflicts following the Council of Chalcedon. These Syrian monks did something transformative. They translated the scriptures into Guizi, established monasteries that became centers of learning, and brought with them texts like the Didascalia. They planted a monastic tradition that would shape Ethiopian Christianity forever. The liturgical poetry, the ascetic spirituality, the church order literature, all bear the mark of Syria. Ethiopia did not receive Christianity only through Egypt. It received it through Syria as well, a fact that helps explain its unique character. The third stream came from Byzantium, the Christian empire of Constantinople. The kingdom of Aksum was connected to the Mediterranean trade network, and through this contact, Byzantine influence flowed into Ethiopia. Aksumite coins bear Christian symbols echoing Constantinople. Church architecture shows Byzantine elements. The Kabra Nagast, Ethiopia's national epic, weaves together traditions from the Byzantine world with Ethiopian legends. This Byzantine stream was not as dominant as Alexandria or Syria, but it added richness, connections to the wider Christian world, artistic influences, a sense of participating in something larger than local tradition. Ethiopia was isolated, but it was not entirely alone. Through Byzantium, it touched the Mediterranean. The fourth stream flowed from Ethiopia itself, from the ancient soul of the land and its people. Long before Christianity, Ethiopia had its own traditions, its own relationship with the God of the Old Testament. The Queen of Sheba's journey to Solomon, recorded in the Kabra Nagast, symbolizes this deep connection. Jewish communities, the Beta Israel, existed in Ethiopia, preserving traditions that would later color Ethiopian Christianity. The reverence for the Ark, the intense fasting, the unique festivals, the music of Yared, the prayer sticks and drums. All these are Ethiopia's own contribution, the native soil that received and transformed the streams. Christianity in Ethiopia is not an import. It is an indigenous faith, as Ethiopian as the mountains themselves. Now we reach the question your deacon posed most sharply. If both churches received the Didascalia, why did Ethiopia preserve it so fully while Egypt did not? The Didascalia Apostolorum, a 3rd century church order from Syria, was known throughout early Christianity. It reached Egypt in Greek. It reached Ethiopia in Ge'ezi, likely through the Syrian Nine Saints. In Egypt, it was one text among many, the canons of Hippolytus, the apostolic constitutions, the decisions of synods, and over time, it receded from central use, replaced by later collections. In Ethiopia, translated early and preserved in monasteries, it entered the canon itself. The Didascalia became not just a historical document, but living law, incorporated into the Fetha Nagast, the legal code that governed both church and state for centuries. The same seed fell on different soil. This preservation had consequences. The Didascalia emphasizes the priestly role, the Eucharistic sacrifice, the connection between Old and New covenants. It presents Christianity not as a break with Israel, but as its fulfillment. In Ethiopia, where Jewish traditions already ran deep, this resonated powerfully. The Didascalia's vision of church order, bishops as high priests, deacons as Levites, the Eucharist as the true sacrifice, reinforced what Ethiopian culture already sensed, that they were participating in the worship of ancient Israel, fulfilled in Christ. The Coptic Church, with its different cultural context and different collection of texts, developed a church order that emphasized different aspects: monastic authority, synodal governance, adaptation to Islamic rule. Both are orthodox, both are apostolic, both are different. Your deacon's question, if we were under the same roof, shouldn't our church orders be the same? Assumes a level of uniformity that ancient Christianity never practiced. The early church was a symphony, not a solo. Antioch worshipped differently than Alexandria, Jerusalem differently than Rome, Ethiopia differently than Egypt. Unity meant sharing the same faith, the same Eucharist, the same apostolic succession, not the same liturgical texts, the same canon, the same church order. The Coptic and Ethiopian churches were under the same roof, but it was a very large roof, with many rooms. And within those rooms, each community furnished worship according to its own culture, its own history, its own sense of what holiness requires. The roof held because the foundation held. The faith of Nicaea, the Christology of Cyril, the apostolic succession from Alexandria. The rest was holy freedom. But, before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. Enter a Coptic church, and you will see icons of the great Egyptian saints. Anthony the Great, father of monasticism; Pachomius, founder of communal life; Athanasius, defender of the faith; Cyril, doctor of the Incarnation; Mina the martyr, wonder-worker of the desert. These are Ethiopia's saints too, shared across the Oriental Orthodox family. But enter an Ethiopian church, and you will see others. Yared, the 6th century composer whose chants shaped Ethiopian liturgy for 1,500 years, is depicted with his 9-stringed instrument, receiving divine inspiration. Tekle Haymanot, the 13th century monk who prayed so long on one leg that it fell off, is shown with his stump, a sign of extreme asceticism. Lalibela, the king who built the rock-hewn churches, is honored as a saint, a ruler whose legacy is not conquest but worship. These differences in sainthood reflect different histories. The Coptic Church's golden age of martyrdom came under Diocletian, whose persecution, 284 to 305 AD, produced thousands of martyrs and shaped Egyptian Christian identity forever. The Coptic calendar even begins with the era of the martyrs, dating from Diocletian's accession. Ethiopia, never under Roman rule, had no Diocletian persecution. Its martyrs came later, often in conflicts with neighboring kingdoms or internal struggles. Its saints are more often monks, missionaries, and kings than martyrs. This does not mean one tradition is more authentic. It means each responded to the challenges of its own history. The Holy Spirit, it seems, raises up the witnesses each community needs. The process of becoming a saint also differs. In the Coptic Church, canonization tends to be more centralized, often involving synodal decisions and formal recognition by the Patriarch. In Ethiopia, sainthood often develops organically through long-standing local veneration, recognition by monasteries, inclusion in liturgical books. This difference reflects the same pattern we've seen throughout. Alexandria provides structure. Ethiopia provides space for local development. Neither approach is wrong. They are simply different expressions of the same impulse to honor those through whom God's light shines. And remarkably, despite these differences, the two churches recognize each other's saints. An Ethiopian pilgrim in Cairo can venerate Anthony the Great. A Coptic pilgrim in Lalibela can honor Tekel Haymanot. The cloud of witnesses covers both lands. So what does this mean for understanding the Coptic and Ethiopian churches? It means they are not rivals, not competitors, not one true and one false. They are siblings, children of the same Alexandrian mother, but shaped by different fathers. Egypt gave them faith, Syria gave them texts, Byzantium gave them art. Ethiopia itself gave them soul. The Nine Saints gave them monasticism. The Queen of Sheba gave them a story. The ancient Jewish communities gave them a hunger for the Arkansas. And through it all, the thread held. The thread of shared Christology, shared Eucharist, shared apostolic succession. When the Coptic Pope visits Ethiopia, he is not visiting a foreign church. He is visiting family. When Ethiopian pilgrims kneel in Cairo, they are not in a strange land. They are at their mother's knee. Your deacon's intuition that the Ethiopian eunuch of Acts 8 might have planted seeds long before Frumentius remains a hypothesis, but a powerful one. It suggests that Christianity in Ethiopia was not imported whole cloth, but grew from native soil, watered by apostolic preaching, organized by Frumentius, enriched by Syrian monks, shaped by Byzantine contacts, colored by Jewish traditions, and protected by Ethiopian kings. The Tabot, the broader canon, the unique festivals, the liturgical dance, the prayer sticks, the drums, the 81 books. All these are not deviations from some supposed norm. They are the natural, beautiful, spirit-led flowering of the gospel in Ethiopian soil. And the Coptic Church, far from opposing this flowering, nourished its root for 16 centuries, sending bishops to tend a garden they did not entirely control and did not need to control. Today, both churches face new challenges: secularism, migration, political pressure. The Coptic Church, battered by centuries of hardship, has learned resilience. The Ethiopian Church, long isolated, now engages a globalized world. But their ancient bond remains. When Coptic Christians are martyred in Libya, Ethiopia weeps. When Ethiopian churches are built in diaspora, Coptic bishops attend their consecrations. The differences remain, and they should. A world with only one kind of Christian worship would be impoverished. The glory of orthodoxy is not uniformity, but unity in diversity. The same faith expressed through the genius of each people. The Coptic Church preserved the faith for Egypt. The Ethiopian Church preserved it for Ethiopia, and preserved texts the whole world needed. Both preserve the faith for all of us. The story of the Coptic and Ethiopian churches is not a story of division, but of diversification. The same living faith taking root in different soils, receiving water from different streams, producing different but equally beautiful fruit. It challenges our modern obsession with uniformity, our assumption that unity means sameness. The early church knew better. They knew that the same Spirit could inspire different liturgies, that the same gospel could be proclaimed in different languages, that the same Christ could be worshipped with Coptic chants and Ethiopian drums, before Coptic altars and Ethiopian tabots, from a Coptic Bible of 73 books and an Ethiopian Bible of 81. The question your deacon asked, how could they be so different under the same roof? Has an answer: because the roof was wide enough, the foundation strong enough, the family loving enough to embrace difference without division. In a world torn by conflict over identity, these ancient siblings offer a model. Distinct but united, different but one, two churches sharing one faith, one baptism, one Lord, and one God and Father of all. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, share, and like to encourage me produce further similar videos.